The Biden White House apparently isn't telling the truth about its efforts to crack down on crime. They claim to be working with local law enforcement to help stop the staggering wave of smash-and-grab thefts. But a top sheriff's group says that's a bunch of baloney and that they're unaware of any planned response by the federal government. Meantime, as Philadelphia sees a record number of homicides this year, the radical district attorney there is playing cleanup after making this outrageous claim.
There is not a big spike in crime. That is not true. There is also not a big spike in violent crime. Neither one of these things is true. Basically, we don't have a crisis of lawlessness. We don't have a crisis of crime. We don't have a crisis of violence.
Larry Krasner now claims he was inarticulate and is blasting the media for focusing too much on that comment. Of course, blame the media. We heard what you said, you jackass. Greg?
Are you calling me a jackass?
No, never.
Okay. No, yeah, it is. I don't know how anybody can say that when the statistics are staring in front of you, when Philadelphia is breaking records and murder. I don't know how he can do that. I think the reason why he's dismissing crime is that he's culpable. Obviously, he's a hardcore left DA who's let out a lot of people who've ended up hurting other people. And he's also, like a lot of people in the media, walled off from crime. It's kind of, I was thinking about this. Do you know that if there was if we were in a relatively safe period and a relatively dangerous period, you might never know the difference. Never know the difference because it's not in your neighborhood. And so I think that's what you're seeing is you're seeing a lot of people disengaged from real life, either behind a gated community sucking on the teat of CNN, believing that there is no crime, or if there is crime, it's done by white supremacists. And then you have the media who cannot acknowledge a crime wave because they were embracing the policies like no cash bail and emptying jails, which helped cause this. So the media can't cover it. The politicians can't admit to it because they're guilty. And so all you have left is this weird state of denial. And then it shows you just how absurd it is when somebody can burn down a tree and he's back on the street out in front of the building because the city, New York City, again, $1 billion sent to de Blasio's wife to deal with the mentally ill. We have a poor mentally ill man living on the street. He's back there.
Yeah.
Burn down the tree. He's back there because our city won't do a GD thing for him. Sorry. See, at least I abbreviated it.
You self-censored, yeah.
No, I emailed a psychiatrist I know who works at Bellevue and said, why wasn't he taken to Bellevue?
Yeah.
And he's like, it's not, he's like, I don't know. He was like, I can't answer that. He was like, you should have been taken to Bellevue rather than sitting across watching the tree lighting.
Yeah.
Jesse, I wanted to bring up, though, that there's a fight brewing in Los Angeles County between Alex Villanueva and George Gascon out there, where George Gascon he said, when you wrestle with a pig, you both get muddy. And they said, oh, I don't mean law enforcement, but that's good. This is a fight between evil or deeply evil and good.
Yeah, I think the phrase is, don't wrestle a pig, you get dirty and the pig likes it. But, yeah, I think obviously we all know what's going on there. I'm interested to know why the Democrats don't want to get the feds involved in crime, because knowing the Democrats, they get the feds involved with everything. They want to federalize elections, healthcare, guns, obviously the border. But for some reason, they don't want federal involvement with the sheriffs, with the crime thing. And then I got to thinking, because I think so much, I got to thinking, well, what crimes do the Democrats really care about? And it seems to be they only care about the crimes that get big headlines and that they can exploit for power. They care about hate crimes. They care about COVID crimes. They care about police misconduct. They care about January 6th. Those are the types of things they're focused on. And then I went to the FBI website. I figured out what's the priority of the FBI under the Joe Biden administration. You know what the front page of the FBI website has up right now? Encouraging the public to report hate crimes, seeking information about violence at the Capitol, pay attention to holiday scams, pay attention to vaccine scams. And then they have a podcast. The FBI has a podcast. Podcast. On this episode of Inside the FBI, we uncover the truth about some of our noteworthy cases involving UFOs. Why are you doing a podcast on UFOs when there's a murder record right now? 30-year murder record smashed. 12 cities smashing homicide records, smash and grab everywhere. And they're focused on January 6th. They're focused on hate crime hoaxes and holiday scams. It's because they don't care about things that they can't take advantage of politically. They don't care about black-on-black crime. If an illegal alien kills someone, they don't care about that. That's not a priority to them. Their priority is political crimes. That's it.
That's why the Department of Justice started going after parents at school board meetings.
Right.
And the Department of Justice took on the theft of Joe Biden's daughter's diary because that was an interstate crime, potentially, when she possibly left it in a hotel. But that theft was important enough for the DOJ to take it on, but not record murder rates.
It's a lot there. Let me try to answer a little bit of it. I think the model for Democrats and Republicans when we think about what's happening in our cities, because I think that's where the key concern is what we've done here in New York. We elected a mayor who will take office in a little less than a month, who is battling publicly with some forces that want to see him not re-empower the police to do things, not see them deploy street units to go out and help in communities all across the city. I think even on one of our other shows earlier in the day, I think there's some dispute between the mayor and the leader of the Black Lives Matter movement here in New York City. I hope the mayor prevails because we need not only more police on the street, but mental health initiatives here in New York. I can't answer for the DOJ and the FBI and all of those things, but what I do know is that the numbers are up. The things you don't want up in crime are up, and the things that you want down are not down. That's where the focus should be. Mental health, putting more police on the street, reforming bail reform, and standing up to those, be they Democrat or Republican, who want to stand in your way. If we do those things, this city will be safer and every American city will be safer.
Greg talked about this, about the danger of data mining, and also, to his point, the only line of defense that the left is coming up with is, well, the murder rates are below where they were in the early 90s and 80s. Oh, right. Well, New York City, we have fewer than 500 murders this year. It was over 2,600 back in 1990. I'm like, that's your goal?
Right, that's your talking point. And then what's President Biden doing? Nothing but weak, feckless action or inaction. You know, his first thing as DOJ does when coming into office is, we're going to exonerate half of the Portland rioters. And then President Trump, he said, hey, you cities who aren't solving crime in your jurisdictions, I'm going to call you anarchist jurisdictions. We're going to take your federal funding. What does Biden do? Get rid of the memo. Biden aided and abetted the defund the police movement. You hear Jen Psaki tacitly, quietly say, we're against defund the police. Oh, wait, but my guy on the campaign trail was asked, do you want to take funding from the police? And he said, absolutely. He has aided and abetted everything we're seeing. We talk about liberal DAs, and we should. We should also talk about the guy sitting in the White House who's doing absolutely nil.
Criminal justice is about justice for victims, not
Correct.
criminals. Straight ahead, the White House spin about the economy getting destroyed by a record surge in inflation.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.